Hey guys, I wound up at the Gates booth, Gates Carbon, and I'm here with Paul, who does marketing for these guys. And man, I'm seeing like all kinds of fun stuff, so I thought we could just kind of cruise through and end with some Pinion talk, because someone named Lynn Recker was asking about this yesterday from the other Interbike video, and I want to follow up with that and see what we got going on the e-bike space.
Yeah, so Gates Carbon Drive, it's a belt drive technology used on all styles of bikes, everything from full suspension mountain bikes to commuter bikes, urban bikes, BMX, race bikes.
Bike packing bikes,
Packing bikes. So
this is
a titanium gravel bike that was really made as a prototype to show off a couple technologies. It's obviously got the Bosch system.
Yeah.
It also has the Rohloff electronic shifting in the rear.
Oh, really?
So that's just a really nice new technology from Rohloff. In the past, they've had the mechanical shifting Rohloff. I mean, this is a bike that was built as a prototype. We showed it at Eurobike, really to show off the range of technologies and possibilities for Gates Carbon Drive to work with Bosch and as well as with Rohloff.
Now, a couple things I'm seeing here. It looks like this one uses the CDX. It's got that like cut down the middle of the belt so it won't come off. Is that
correct?
What
That's
that does?
Called our Centertrack design,
okay.
And that is used through all of our belts now. Our original belt system, which we launched 10 years ago or 11 years ago now, had what we called a mud port design. So there wasn't the Centertrack design on the sprockets and that notch down the belt. But the Centertrack design really was a huge upgrade in terms of alignment, preventing any skipping of the
good
belt.
Retention.
It was just a great technology. Yeah.
So we stepped over here and I was like, bike packing, but yeah, gravel grinding. Maybe this is more of like just a trekking bike. What would you call? I mean, this is a really cool platform, and I'm trying to get my vocabulary right. What would you call this?
Electric
touring bike?
trekking, touring, gravel, all-road
It's a
bike.
do everything,
Yeah.
man. This is sweet, and it's probably a lot lighter. I've got a friend, Jeremy. We did this like fat bike video a while back. And they go mountain biking with it, right? And it's pretty heavy, but it was amazing what they were able to do with it and put all the bags. So shout out to Ortleib, that's kind of a cool accessory right here.
Exactly, and the guy who built this bike works for Gates. He lives in Paonia, Colorado, and he rides this, does a lot of gravel riding in and around the mountains of Colorado.
Beautiful place, man. And maybe we can step back here and get closer to some of these belts. I noticed there's this really cool, you said this was like a prototype printed e-bike? What's going on?
3D printing carbon fiber frames. Wow. So this is a company that really wanted to show off this new ability in 3D printing. In the Gates booth here, we have a big range of styles of frames and bikes, because we just want to, again, show off the range of possibilities for using the Gates Carbon Drive system.
Is this one actually electric?
I do not believe this is an electric bike. It's got the Di2 Shimano Alpine shifting.
Okay.
So it's got electronic shifting, but it's not an e-bike.
I saw the bigger bottom bracket, and I was thinking maybe there's a new motor or something like this. Still very cool. I've heard about this concept where you can maybe you could custom order different sizes or colors, and then they can print bikes on demand at your location. That's like maybe the future.
I think that's the future. That's why we're excited to work with them, but this is sort of just hot off the presses,
yeah.
And I think you'll see more from this company in the coming years.
It's really beautiful. While we were on the topic, we were talking about e-bikes a minute ago, and I have seen like Reese & Mueller and some of these other companies that are using belt drives, Evelo. People ask like, why this versus a chain? And it's always like, well, it's quiet and it's durable, kind of like a timing belt in your car. Maybe
right.
Even more durable than chains in some cases, but you have to have a frame that either doesn't have that extra stay or it has a cut in the stay so you can get the belt on, because the belt doesn't come unattached. Can you just talk about the pros and cons, or what, sell me on Gates?
The pros of Gates Carbon Drive really are low maintenance, right? Mm-hmm. No rust, no grease. It will never stretch, and you should get at least twice as long out of a belt that you would under a chain under the exact same conditions. So it's really a time saver. I have it on multiple bikes at my house, everything from single speed cyclocross bike
Sweet.
to internally geared hub city bike. And it's nice just to be able to ride your bike, put it away, especially on like a dirty application like cyclocross racing or something.
Yeah.
You just hose off your bike, hose off the belt, put it away wet, you grab it like 3 days later or a week later and the chain's not rusted, you can just get on and go. So those are the real, in a nutshell, the advantages of the Gates Carbon Drive system. It makes a lot of sense on e-bikes, because e-bikes, for the most part, are transportation bikes. Of course, there are a lot of recreational electric mountain bikes.
Sure.
But that sort of getting from point A to point B, electric mobility is really the future of transportation around the planet as we look to become more sustainable and get people through cities out of cars so we can reduce congestion, etc. The Gates carbon drive system reduces that maintenance. So on a transportation bike, you just want to get to the office. You don't want to have to think about, oh, I need to do some maintenance before I ride to work. I'm already running late. Got to go. And so you save a lot of time.
And one thing that stood out to me about this setup, so I've seen like the guys at Faraday, they have like an eccentric bottom bracket, so it sort of spins, it's an oval, and it sort of like brings the bottom bracket further or closer.
That's one of the methods of tensioning the belt.
Or the horizontal dropout.
Correct.
This one doesn't have either. Like how did they tension this chain or this belt?
You put me on the spot.
Oh
I'm
my
just seeing
gosh.
this bike here for the first time
Let's
here at the show.
investigate hollow bottom bracket.
I'm not sure what style of tensioning system, if they are just frankly just using the horizontal and pulling it tight.
It is a little bit horizontal.
A better example of another one would be a sliding dropout.
Let's check that out.
So,
oh yeah.
like on the tensioning system on this bike here,
so you put
sliding
the belt
dropout
on,
is
you tighten
yes, exactly. You pull it back into position, lock it down, and then you're good to go.
Sorry to cut you off.
No, absolutely not. Please. And this one also has the Pinion Gearbox, which is another
super excited
great
about
technology you see on pedal bikes as well as on e-bikes. The Pinion Gearbox has a lot of the same advantages of an internally geared hub, like a roll-off system, in that it's sealed, so it's clean, it's quiet. Pinion has a 5-year warranty on their gearboxes. And once a year you have to change the oil in there, and that's really it for maintenance. Gates distributes Pinion in North America. It's a German company founded by a couple Porsche engineers who really wanted to bring an automotive style clean transmission system to bicycles. They were mountain bikers, and they were tired of adjusting their derailleurs and fixing them, so they spent some years in the workshop developing this system. It's becoming really popular in Europe. Gates is distributing it in North America because it's such a good compatible technology with our belt drives.
Now, do your belt drives come in different colors like this? You got the red, or
they do. We have a red, we have a white. The black is the classic. Occasionally, we will launch another color just for a little eye candy, right? So last year was our 10-year anniversary in 2017, and so we launched a white belt, really to show off the sort of clean aspect. And the maintenance on these things really comes down to, if it gets dirty, hose it off, put it away wet.
Now, I think there are 2 versions of the Pinion, right? Like 7 and a 9 speed. Is that?
They have a 6, a 9, a 12, and an 18.
Oh wow!
The 18 speed has a 636% range. Which is a massive range. In the low gear, you could pretty much pedal up a wall, and in that overdrive gear, you can really crank along at highway speed. That's really for like loaded touring bikes where you really want that 636% range.
That's like the highest I've ever heard. I mean,
it is.
New Vinci has like the M380, that's 380 degrees.
Right.
We were looking at the SRAM Eagle, which is 10 to 50 teeth, that's 500 degrees, but you're like 600 and what?
636 on the 18 speed.
Wow.
The 12 speed has a 600% range, and so Pinion has these multiple gearboxes to meet different requirements. Like I said, for loaded touring, you really want to have a lot of gearing if you're carrying 50 pounds of camping gear on your bike.
For sure.
For mountain bikes, you can get away with 9 or 12 speeds.
I like that it brings the weight low and center.
Right. I didn't mention that. That's the other advantage. So internally geared hubs, great technology. Gates pairs well with, as I mentioned, roll-off hubs, Shimano Alpine, 11-speed, 8-speed. There was a Shimano Alpine on that 3D printed bike. One of the advantages, especially for like mountain biking, where maybe you're going off some jumps, to have an internally geared hub in the rear wheel might throw off the balance of your bike a little bit.
Sure.
So with the Pinion Gearbox, you're centering it low, center of gravity. It really brings a nice stability to your ride, and it's a nice stable platform right there between your feet.
Yeah, this is wonderful, man. I feel like, I don't know if we've hit everything. I want to call out that a couple of the e-bikes that I've seen with Pinion were in Europe, and I feel like maybe it was Desiknio I reviewed some of them when I was in London recently.
Terrain is a German brand that uses Pinion Gearbox on their electric bikes, and they use a Go Swiss
hub drive, and that was on the original Specialized Turbo.
Right.
Really great motor. It's like a gearless direct drive, regenerative braking, smooth, quiet, but it's a hub motor. These are all hub motor bikes.
Right. Well, to run the Pinion, obviously you can't put a Bosch motor in the bottom bracket to compete for real estate with the Pinion.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because again, regenerative braking is one of the benefits. Or with hub motors, it separates it from that drivetrain, and so shift detection and all these fancier systems. I feel like I've been seeing a lot of really lightweight bikes lately, and integrated like road bikes and stuff where they do opt for a smaller hub motor, and that would be a good fit for this too.
That was you mentioned that Eurobike. We showed in our Eurobike booth a couple. Initially, when e-bikes came out, there was this drive to get them bigger range, heavy.
Powerful,
and then now there's sort of a shift back to lightweight bikes, because some people might just be riding across town 10 miles to work. You don't need as much range.
And look
so
at this, like lightweight, like carbon fiber loft. Do you distribute them too, or was that just for fun?
We don't. This was just a spec that they came out. Carver that built this bike for us to show here at Outdoor Demo.
Yeah. I'm sorry I cut you off. I was just like, man, that's another great feature for comfort.
It is.
It has like elastic bands.
It's great for for gravel riding, beach riding. It's not a full suspension, you're not going to take this in the downhill trails, but it really does soften the ride for those off-road, kind of mild off-road touring, or even there are some like single-speed racers who will use it. Marathon cross-country guys will use that.
This is a sick bike, though. I mean, it's got the plus-size tires, so you got some suspension built in right there. This has been awesome. We've been talking for longer than I expected, Paul, but
I can talk all day, Court. And there's another bike over here.
Should we check this out?
Yeah.
So I recognize this company. This is Nicolai, yeah?
Yeah, so Nicolai, it's a German mountain bike brand.
Yeah.
Founded by Carl Nicolai, a real sort of innovator in the mountain bike industry. This is his full suspension, electronic shifting e-bike.
So it's got the what is that called? The Rohloff?
That's got the Rohloff E-14.
Wow.
So that pairs with Bosch motor. They synchronize so that the shifting is really clean, so you don't have the mechanical pull to shift.
Well, they have shift detection with Bosch. Is that what you're talking about?
Right. And so right here is the shifting.
And it can shift at standstill.
Super simple.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of increase on the unsprung weight here with that hub, but then you're able to do the mid-drive and have a really tough drivetrain, do the shifting on the fly, and then those require a lot less maintenance. Those seem like the pros for me. And just look at this. This must be sort of for protection. It's almost like a bash guard, and then you've got this pulley wheel going on, so it raises it above the swing arm so you aren't having any contact. Just really beautiful. Another retainer back here.
Right, so this full suspension stuff is really kind of the cutting edge for Gates Carbon Drive. We've worked really hard to come up with these backside idler technologies. And in the future, you will see Gates belts on more full suspension mountain bikes.
Wow.
This is just a beautiful piece of machinery, right? There was a German mountain bike magazine called this, like, if Batman had a mountain bike, this would be it.
Does this have like the power tube, I'm guessing?
It does. So yeah,
so
sleek,
like built in there.
Batteries are buried in that massive tube there. It's just a thing of beauty, right?
This thing is incredible. Thank you for calling this out, because we almost missed it at the end there, and you've just been a pleasure to hang out with, Paul.
Great to talk with you, Court. We're big fans of Electric Bike Review. Look forward to getting you on some more Gates belt drive bikes.
Yeah, me too. I can't wait, man. I hope you have a good year.
Right on, buddy.
Later.